vlog day 5. Do this every day. Make it a thing. It's part of my morning now. It takes a while to build a habit, right? They say 3 weeks to build a habit. I think it actually takes longer than that to build a real habit. But like I've been going to the gym most mornings, say averaging 4 to 5 mornings a week since Memorial Day. So this is month 4, and now I feel like it's a habit. Now I feel like if I miss a day, I'm not derailing. It's like, all right, I need a little extra rest today. Some days it's just like that. And but I get up and I go the next day. The only time I missed more than a day or two in a week was when I had a foot injury that I had to really let rest. I kept pushing through it. I pushed through it seriously in some serious heel pain for like a month. And it just wasn't getting any better. And finally one week it just on me and I was like, all right, I'm going to get off it. So I went to the gym that Monday and gutted through. And then I was like, you know what? Just shutting it down for a weekend. By the next Monday, I was good. By the next Monday, the pain was pretty much gone. So sometimes you got to listen to your body. Gutting through is an admirable trait, but sometimes you got to pay attention. Because otherwise, if I hadn't shut it down, I'd still be in pain. We got Poopin' Puppy. This is poop number 2. I usually try to wait till after they're both pooped to start the vlog, because it makes less bag interruptions. But here we are, picking up some poop. Yeah, so yeah, I'm enjoying the vlog. I like this, it's kind of like journaling with tea in my head in the morning, which is nice. It's a good thing. Hold on. For some reason I put the camera in the leash hand, which is an impressive enough feat of itself. Come on, Usks. And I had the phone in the leash hand, and I had the bags in the free hand, which made no sense. So, yeah. Like I said, I think it takes longer than 3 weeks to build a real habit, but I think 3 months is pretty solid. So now we're, day 5 of the vlog. So by the end of the year, we should feel pretty solid with the vlog. And, try to do it every day. And just like the gym, if we miss a day here and there, just get back on the horse. I'm trying not to miss a day, though. It might be some real short days where I just check in for 2 minutes and let you know what's going on and why I'm not doing a longer one. But and I'm going to try to keep them to about 20 minutes. Some of the ones when we go over, some of them will be longer, but those are more broadcasts. If I do one in front of my laptop to go over some stats or some interesting stuff about a replay or to do some game recaps, those will be a little bit longer. But the ones where I just get to train the thought in the morning, those will typically be the length of about half the dog walk, which is, the dog walk's about 45 minutes. So about 20 minutes is the plan. Yesterday we bled to a half hour. It was a real slow walk yesterday because they kept stopping. A little congested this morning. I think it's allergies, but anyway, I figured today's topic could be, and no promises because I go all over the damn place, but I thought today's topic could be talking about 1960 baseball for the Strat-O-Matic replay that's been voted upon by the community. Got a pretty good, strong representation of votes for the, there's a garbage can over here, I want to throw the poop out instead of carrying it. Pretty strong voting representation for the community on a poll I put up. It was about 65-35 or something like that in favor of 1960 over 1947. So 1960 it'll be, and I'd already ordered that anyway, realizing it was a season I didn't have in my collection for Strat. So let's go back to the other side. And that'll actually be here Wednesday. That'll be here tomorrow. It's Tuesday already. How'd that happen? But I'm not going to start it till after I get back from vacation. We may do an unboxing one night this week. We kind of take a look at the cards, and I don't know if it's a more recent reprint with like the black and white print, or if it's one they've had sitting around, like my 1920 set, and it's going to come with the blue. Doesn't matter to me. I like the black better, just for they're easier to read and they show up better on camera. But we'll make it work either way. So we'll find out Wednesday. Find out tomorrow when I get home from work, probably. Yeah, so it's going to be 1960 Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced Baseball starting in about 2 weeks. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't know a lot about the 60 season. Of course, I know about Mazeroski's home run. So that's, he always stops here. Come on. Come on. So that's part of the fun, is diving into a new season to find out what it's all about. And one of the things I did that I don't usually do is, well, I know it's the Pirates and the Yankees, and there were no divisions yet, so I kind of already knew the favorites, right? And but at a glance, I was a little concerned, honestly, because there didn't seem to be a very good pennant race. I think the Yanks beat the Orioles by 7 or 8 games, and I believe the Pirates led Milwaukee by about the same margin when the standings were all compiled. And hold on, get all twisted. So I was like, oh, this could be one of those runaways. Like, could be one where it's wrapped up by September, which, you know, would take more than a year to get to. But doesn't mean the replay wouldn't be fun. I've had blowouts before, but it's nice to have a pennant race in at least one league. Well, I felt a little bit better when I got off Wikipedia and I looked at Baseball Reference, and I looked at the Pythagorean win-loss records, and I'm not going to remember exactly, obviously, but neither the Yankees nor they both outperformed. The Yankees and the Pirates both outperformed their Pythagorean records by 3 or 4 or 5 games. So they weren't as good, according to the statisticians anyway, as they showed up on paper at the end of the season. And in fact, Baltimore was not in the American League, the second Pythagorean record. It was the Chicago White Sox, only 2 games behind the Yanks, I believe, in Pythagorean. I think it was 92-90, and Baltimore was 89. So, according to that, and knowing that sims tend to, of course, there's, you know, standard deviations and all that, but knowing that baseball sims and Strat-O-Matic in particular, in my experience, tends to hew closer to the Pythagorean records, the American League could shape up to be pretty fun. And in the National League, you know, you've got Aaron and Matthews on the Braves. Anything can happen there. The Pirates are an interesting team, and I wouldn't. They're not a traditional like contender, you know. Well, it's not fair. They have solid pitching and some good hitters, but they don't have anybody on the team like with seasons like Matthews and Aaron had for Milwaukee. So, come on. Oh, you guys are being so good. Thank you. My pups didn't start the barking that time. That's nice change. Usually they're the ones that get triggered first. So yeah. And then the National League, the second place team Pythagorean wise was not Milwaukee. It was Los Angeles. And I haven't looked at that roster yet. But you know there's going to be some good pitching. And you know there's probably some good hitting. The Dodgers are always a pretty well-balanced team in this era. So that should be fun, actually. I think we've got 3 strong teams in both divisions. And then who the hell knows? You know, sometimes the strong teams get off to a slow start and make things real interesting through the middle of the summer in replays. And that's always fun, too, when your front runner has to make up ground going into, like, June and July. That's always fun. Sometimes the dice just dictate that we're going to have a better replay than expected. So I think they're all good. Like I have fun with all of them. Doesn't matter to me. I find storylines, you know. Somebody always starts off incredibly hot that you don't expect. Like right now in 1973, Amos Otis, and 2 weeks in, is hitting the cover off the ball. Not that he doesn't have a capable card, but he's dominating the American League right now. So that's kind of fun. But anyway, so what else is interesting about 60? Right, it's the last season. It's the last season where there's 8 teams in each league. It's the last season of a 154 game schedule in both leagues. So that's kind of cool. There's an element of history to it that's significant in overall baseball lore. And I can only imagine, come on, I can only imagine that back when that was happening, people have their windows open, so try to be a little quiet. It's a nice cool evening, or cool morning, evening. It's 5 o'clock, Joe. Where you been? Yes, little ones. Little walk the streets. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it's the last year of 154 game schedules in both leagues. It's the first year for Candlestick Park, so that's kind of cool. We'll get to play the Candlestick Park opener right on opening day, and then just flipping through the events on Wikipedia, the first thing I came across, which was not really a big storyline for 1960, but a significant moment for 2 teams, is Norm Cash getting traded. Norm Cash gets traded. I forget from which team. I think it's either the White Sox or the Indians. I know it's a C team. I'd have to look again, but I think I lose the camera if I do that. All right, so Norm Cash getting traded. Oh, she's going again. Got multi-poopers, man. And going on to play first base for Detroit and hitting like 370 home runs or something, and being the starting first baseman for the other team he gets traded to for 14 years. And a guy who came back in the trade, whose name I have completely forgotten already. I think it's Demeter. He's Ty Demeter, something like that. Sounds like the old quarterback for BYU, Ty Detmer, but it's not that. Maybe it's not Ty. Come on, Midge. Come on, babies. Come on. Yeah, you don't need to worry about that car. Let's go. That guy played the guy who was traded for Cash, who the team got in return, played 4 games for his new team, and that was it, 4. So you got 14 seasons for one team and 4 games. That's gotta be one of the worst trades in baseball history. So some interesting stuff going into 60, and of course it's the beginning of a decade where America will irrevocably change for good. From the boom years and the baby boomer years following World War II. It's going to be a decade where the Yankees in real life were pretty dominant till the end of the 60s. Right? Hey, come on. But, every decade up to that point, the Yankees were pretty dominant. 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. They're actually less dominant in the 20s with the Ruth years than they were in the 30s and 40s, huh? But, yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about the replay. I can't wait to get the set. Come on, guys. Arr. Come on, babies. Can't wait to do a little unboxing action. And then I started thinking about process and how I'm going to go about the replay, because, I like doing as played. I've really gotten into that. I like being able to be historical with it. I like, having people make their debuts and stuff like that. But of course, the issue with Strat-O-Matic that I've talked about a lot already on this vlog in only 5 days is they don't card everybody, at least not in the cards set. So I'm going to probably subscribe to the card viewer and try to figure that out, and see if it even works. I already understand people are having some issues with it. I got to see how many players we're talking about once I get the set. And see if I want to go through all the trouble of creating cards, even digitally, but I'd like to have them on paper if I do it, for all the missing players. I could do a little bit at a time, but, just for the as-played lineups or whatever. But if I'm going to do it, I want to have the whole roster available. Just because the guy didn't start doesn't mean he wasn't on the bench sitting waiting to be used. And I'm not going to adhere. If I do as-played, I never adhere to who played in the game after the starting lineup. Like, I always make those decisions myself based on, yes, usage is a factor, but based on the information at hand. And based on my own judgment, frankly. So that's one of the ways I'll go with it. And if I decide not to do as-played, I'm okay with that, because I've done complete strat replays in the past. I haven't completed one in a while, actually. It's been about 3 years since I wrapped up my 62 replay the first time. And I kind of want to go back to it. I love that season. I don't know why. Jeff's playing it now, and it just brings back memories of a really good replay. But that's the last season I actually finished. Obviously off stream. I wasn't streaming at the time. I started it on my other channel, and then was frustrated with the pace of the games, and I wanted to, because it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to stream a game typically when I'm doing the play-by-play, and when I'm just rolling them, I can, like I said, bang out easily 3 or 4 an hour without trying. So if I have 3 hours in an evening, I can bang out 10 to 12 games, no problem. And in Strat, anyway. Strat Basic is how I played that. But I digress as usual. If I decide not to do the as-played, I'm going to let Strat do the work. I'll probably we'll do what I like to call as-carded. Which means I'll make the trades for the carded players as they occurred. And I'll let Strat actually just dictate the injuries and the usage by using the injury chart and the solitaire player rest chart. The only thing I won't let it dictate is starting pitching, because it's super inconsistent with that. It's like either pitchers don't get injured enough. If you use like the original injury rule for pitchers, which is they only get injured when they roll on their batting card for an injury, which that's unfair, because like the guy started 40 games and never got injured. Now you might roll that he's out for 15 games or something. He might miss 3 starts. I mean, it's not game breaking. But then you got guys like, the number 4 starter, or 5, let's say the number 5 starter on a team has 15 starts. And the reason he has 15 starts isn't because he sucked. Like, maybe he pitched solidly. Or maybe he has 15 starts because he got hurt at some point. And they had to pull somebody else in to the rotation. Maybe he had 15 starts because the manager liked to match up certain ways. Things like that. So what I will try to do is adhere to the starting pitching regardless. Except that if we do as carded, I'll choose the spot starters when somebody's not available. So if I, got a guy who started 1 game and he's just not carded and we don't do it that way, then, somebody will get a spot start basically based on availability and rotation. So, but yeah, so the solitaire rest chart and the injuries work really well for position players. Like, you get really good usage for the most part, and for the majority of the league. And the slight anomalies where somebody gets injured a little more often than expected because of bad luck, aren't a big deal. They're just not. So, cool plane flying up there. What the hell's going on there? That looks weird, doesn't it? Looks weird. It's just the aliens, man. What is that? Is that just a plane flying through the mist. It's freaky looking. It was weird. It was just cutting a cloud, I guess. Yeah, so that's the plan. We'll get to that after vacation. So that's the 60 season. I'm sure we'll have a lot more information. I'm trying to find a good book on it because I like to read a book about the seasons I do if I can. I think there's a good one about the last game of the season, and it's 280 pages long, so I can't imagine it's all about the one game. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. It's been just over 20, so we hit that one pretty well. All right, see you guys later. Bye.